Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about a recent river linkage project that has made a headline. It is referred as PKC River Project. PKC here stands for Parvati River, that will be interlinked with the Kali Sindh River, and that will be finally interlinked with the main river, that is the Chambal River. So in this context, we are going to discuss in details what is this project all about, what generally river interlinking is all about in India, advantages, disadvantages, and also what is the Eastern Rajasthan Canal Project, about which Rajasthan government has recently signed a memorandum of understanding. So first of all, to give you the background of this particular news, so Rajasthan and the other government, that other state, that is Madhya Pradesh, recently they have concluded an agreement, that is MOU, with the Union Ministry of Jal Shakti, which earlier was Ministry of Water Resources, to implement the modified Parvati Kali Sindh Chambal ERCP link project. The project basically envisages to integrate the long pending PKC river with the Eastern Rajasthan Canal Project, which is a project that tries to bring water in the eastern part of Rajasthan to supply it for irrigation purposes, also for the drinking water purposes. Under the National Perspective Plan, that NPP plan that has been again formulated by a central government agency that we'll discuss later, of interlinking of rivers programs of the government of India. The ERCP is very significant politically, both for the state of Rajasthan and the state of Madhya Pradesh, and last government had been pushing for a national project status for the same plan. So let us try to understand what is this project all about and who is going to benefit from this particular project. Now we have understood that PKC project stands for interlinking of three rivers, Parvati, Kali, Sindh and Chambal. However, there has been a modification that is made here, and that is why it is now being referred as modified PKC ERCP. So basically the modified PKC ERCP is an interstate river interlinking project. Earlier the project was largely in the state of Madhya Pradesh, now it is being linked with the state of Rajasthan also. So based on the outcome of the DPR, that is a detailed project report that was prepared, a memorandum of agreement will be finalized among Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and obviously the central government. So basically this MOU is covering three aspects of the river interlinking. First, the sharing and exchange of water, obviously because two states are involved, and we have generally seen in India that whenever a river water is being shared between two or more states, generally it leads to interstate dispute. So to make sure that this does not arise in the future, already there will be agreement about proper sharing and exchange of the water from this particular interlinking project. Second, how the costs and benefit will be shared between the two state governments of Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. Third is about implementation mechanism of the project. And finally, it is about the arrangement for management and control of water in the Chambal basin. So it is around these areas, these aspects, the both governments have come together to sign the MOU. Now let us try to understand more briefly about the PKC link project, that is the project that we see on this particular map. So as you can see clearly from here, this is the Chambal River. Now Chambal River is a very important river that is flowing in the state of Madhya Pradesh, and it originates from the Vindhya range that is present somewhere at the border of Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and going all the way up to Bihar. And also in the west it spans all the way up to Rajasthan. So from the Vindhya range you have a Chambal River that originates here, and then Chambal River goes and meets the Yamuna River in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Now the two other rivers that we have discussed here, the Parvati River and the Kali Sindh River, as you can see from this particular map, are the tributaries of Chambal itself. One more river that you can see here is a tributary of Chambal, that is Manas River, which originates from the Aravalli range situated in the state of Rajasthan. So that is the overall river water, basically what you can say the river network that we see on the map. So if you go into the background of this particular project, it was the year 1980 when the National Perspective Plan was formulated by what we call today as a Ministry of Water Resources or Jal Shakti and the Central Water Commission. As per the National Perspective Plan, Central Water Commission has decided that 30 such interlinking projects will be commissioned all over India, which will help in tackling the drought related situations that we see in different parts of India. That basically is associated with the transfer of surplus volume water from the major river to one of the minor rivers. Thus, after this plan, September 1991 is when National Water Development Agency, which is a central government agency, prepared a preliminary feasibility report of the Kalisindh-Chambal Link Canal project. If you look at this project and proposal in more detail, basically it aims at diversion of water from Nevas River. Now, Nevas River basically, as you can see, is a small tributary of Kalisindh River. So, the proposal is to transfer the surplus volume water from the Nevas River and then Kalisindh to the river Chambal at two places where the possibility is. The first is the Rana Pratap Sagar Dam, or the second is the Gandhi Sagar Dam. Then Rajasthan came up with a proposal of the Eastern Rajasthan Canal Project somewhere in year 2019, and this integration was approved by the Special Committee for Interlinking of Rivers in month of December 2022. So if you look at again the map of the entire river basin, as we have discussed, here you can see this is the river Chambal, which is the largest river in this area, and this is, as you can see, river Kalisindh. So now from Kalisindh river, Chambal river is here, Kalisindh river is meeting it somewhere here. So two possibilities that we have discussed before. The Gandhi Sagar Dam is here where the water can be transferred, surplus volume water can be transferred, or the other dam also is where we can transfer the water. So it will basically benefit both the states of Rajasthan in the north and the state of Madhya Pradesh to the south and the eastern area. Now let us try to understand briefly about the Eastern Rajasthan Canal Project as well. So basically the aim of this project is to have intra-basin transfer of water within the Chambal basin itself. Basically the ERCP is total project which is worth about 40,451 crore, and it will be not a single phase project but rather it will be completed in 3 phases which will take almost 7 years to complete. The project will address drinking water as well as the irrigation demand of 13 districts of Rajasthan, and that is why you can understand why Rajasthan wanted to connect this project with the interlinking of Chambal river. So the work involves channelizing Chambal river water that is getting wasted anyway now. So how this intra-basin transfer is done? So if you try to understand that, so to utilize the surplus monsoon water, because when the monsoon winds enter into India, especially when they're entering from the Bay of Bengal region, they cause heavy rainfall in the eastern part, but by the time they reach the Rajasthan, the amount of rainfall it causes is very, very less because wind is losing most of its moisture or precipitating out most of its moisture. Thus, to utilize the surplus monsoon water available in the Kalisindh, Parvati, Maize and Chakan subbasin, all of these rivers are basically tributaries to Chambal river, and then diverting it into the water deficit subbasins of other tributaries that are coming from the west, which are Banas river, Gambhiri river, Ban Ganga river and the Parvati river. Why? Simple reason is because it will then help in fulfilling the drinking and industrial water demand to 13 districts of the Eastern Rajasthan, whose names are given here, which also include the capital city of Rajasthan, that is Jaipur. Apart from that, the river water can also be utilized for irrigation purposes, and thus it is expected that almost 2.8 lakh hectare of area or even more each in both the states, that means total Madhya Pradesh plus Rajasthan, will have an advantage of water supply for irrigation for almost 5.6 lakh hectares and even more than that. Now, if talk about national perspective plan that we have just said that this Central Water Commission has prepared this plan. So this is how the plan actually look like. As you can see from here, it has two components. One is what we can call as the peninsular component, that is the red region, that the red this interlinking project that basically covers the peninsular plateau of India, and other is the Himalayan component, which basically aims at interlinking of the Himalayan rivers and its tributaries. So major rivers, as we can talk about, we have in the Himalayan rivers, we have interlinking of Brahmaputra river and the Ganga river. We have interlinking of Gandak and Ganga, Ghagra and Yamuna. So similarly, we have interlinking in the peninsular plateau also. The project that we are talking about is this one, that is Kalisindh, Parvati and Chambal interlinking. One other project that already has been given a nod by the central government is Ken-Betwa interlinking project, which is very, very important project. Actually, after the interlinking of Krishna Godavari river in India, the Ken-Betwa river interlink project was the second project which was given approval by the Union Ministry. Again, basically because Betwa river is flowing through plateau of Bundelkhand, which is arid area, drought prone area, while Ken river has a surplus volume of water. So the project was to supply Betwa river basin with the surplus water from the Ken river basin. Now, if you look at the NPP in more details, basically the National River Linking Project, which is also the name given to the NPP today, envisages the transfer of water from water surplus basin where there is a flooding to water deficit basin where there is a drought or a scarcity through inter-basin water transfer projects. Now, under the NPP, the National Water Development Agency (NWDA) has identified 30 links, and as we have discussed in the map before, out of these 30 links, 16 links are under the peninsular components and 14 links are under the Himalayan component for the preparation of FRs, that is the feasibility report. Thus, NPP for transferring water from water surplus basin to water deficit basin was prepared in August 1980. Now, obviously, if you look theoretically, it makes sense that it will have advantage in both river basins because the surplus river basin has flooding problem that can be solved by transferring this excess water, and the drought, the river basin which are situated in drought prone areas, they will have the extra supply of water which can tackle the drought problem as well. However, there are a lot of problems associated with the river interlinking projects. That is why even after 40 years of the preparation of the NPP or the preparation of plan, we have not been able to successfully interlink most of the project as envisaged in the plan. So, what are the problems or challenges in the interlinking? The first challenge obviously that comes is the environmental cost that we have to bear. For example, the project threatens to obstruct the natural ecology of the rivers and submerged forest causing habitat fragmentation. That is something which was concerned in the Ken-Betwa River Interlinking project as well, because due to interlinking project, it is expected that a large part of Panna Tiger Reserve will be submerged, where you have a huge number of tiger population that will lead to habitat reduction or habitat shrinkage, which can cause further decline in the tiger population, which again is running counter to the other Ministry of Environment and Forest policy or plan of doubling the tiger population. Second, it also is something that does not make sense if we take into account the climate change that is going on, because as a result of climate change, we have already assumed for interlinking of river that one river basin has surplus water, other river basin has a deficit water. But if you take into account the climate change as a factor, we can never be certain, we can never be sure that in next 30, 40, 50 years, the surplus river water will have a surplus water or not, because it can also get dry. And that is why the assumption that donor basin has surplus water that can be made available to the recipient basin is again something that basically fails in the context of climate change. The third is economic cost. Obviously, the amount that you require to spend for such a large scale project is humongous in nature and also cause huge fiscal burden on the government. And especially if you look it into the context, from the context of the second point that we have discussed, that if suppose 50 to 80 years later, if the surplus basin does not have surplus water, in that case the existence of entire project will just be meaningless and it will just be a fiscal burden for no utility in that case. The last is the socio-economic impact that these projects have, because it is estimated that network of canals extending to about 15,000 kilometers would displace about 5.5 million people, mostly tribals and farmers. This again can create a bigger challenge, because you know that in many areas, due to the development caused displacement, tribals are unsatisfied, the remote villagers are unsatisfied, and that is why they also have been joining the ranks of Naxals or left-wing extremists to raise their demand. So that will also have a direct impact on the national security of India or internal security of India. So it is this context, whenever we are trying to finalize about any river interlinking project, we have to understand the pros and cons, and then only we should take the decision about it. That is all about this particular video. Thank you very much.